Hello everyone, welcome to yet another tutorial. Today we are going to look at how to create depth of field effect in Maya. We'll also look at using Arnold lights, Arnold renderer, and converting the paint effects materials to render paint effects in Arnold. Alright, so let us get started. In Maya, first thing we are going to do is create a nurbs plane. Okay, so we'll also look at nurbs surfaces today, and we'll go to Window, General Editor, Content Browser, and I'm going to use this flower. So simply click and drag a little bit and release. That will give you a flower. Now we will scale our plane a little big, and then we will also go to Arnold, Light, Sky Dome Light. Alright, so this will give us even lighting, and if you render, you don't see the flower. That is because the paint effect flower will not render in Arnold. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to first convert it to polygon. So we'll go to Modify, Convert, Paint Effects to Polygons. Alright, now if you render, you get the flower, but the textures are not right. So we need to create Arnold textures and retexture map this mesh. So we will start with, say, the leaf. Alright, so if you hit the 6th key, you can see there are leaves. They look good here, but they don't look good in the Arnold renderer. So we'll go to Edit, Delete by Type History, and we'll go to right click, Assign New Material, and we will assign an Arnold standard surface, and we'll call it leaf material. Alright, and now we need to add a color, and then go to File, and I have a leaf image with transparency downloaded from the internet, which is this one. Alright, so you can see that the leaf is now visible. If you go to leaf texture, this was the one that I selected, and I downloaded the 1K version. Alright, now we will go to Hypershade, and we are going to go to our leaf material, right click, graph network. Okay, so you can see that we have our leaf. Now we need our we'll create a new 2D texture, and we'll assign that to opacity. Okay, double click on this, and the file is going to be this one. So the outer side I created black, inside is white. So that was done in Photoshop. So we go to Photoshop, we can open the leaf file, okay, and then that is where it was created. I think I have the image somewhere. Window history. Let me close this one and open it again, because I worked on top of it and did not save it. So you select all the transparent areas, go to edit, fill, black, go to select, inverse, edit, fill, and white. Okay, and save that image. Alright, so we can render our leaf and see how it looks. So you can see that the leaf is textured mapped, and you can now go to UV editor and work with the vertices so that the leaf looks correct. So we can rotate it like this, and then now the stem is facing down, so we will reverse it. So the stem is now facing up. Okay, so all our leaves are now fixed. If you render it, you see long leaves connected to the stem. For the stem, we'll do the same thing. We go to edit, delete by type history, right click, not right click, yes, assign new material, Arnold, standard surface. We'll name it stem material. Okay, so you can add some other, maybe say noise, and maybe have a dark green color and a light green color for the noise, and then you can play with the options to get some interesting looking stem effect. You can try different options. I'm not going to spend too much time creating these. There's a color offset which can be again a darker green. Okay, so if you render this one, now you have the stem, and then now we'll come to the leaf. So assign new material, standard surface, name this flower material, and maybe we can add Brownian. Okay, so Brownian will create this cube around it, and then if you click on it, color balance, we're going to use a dark red and a light red color, and then the color offset can again be a reddish color. Okay, and then if you render this, you get the flower, then you can play with these options. Okay, so it will be a matter of playing with the numbers and see what looks nice. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is how to get rid of this, because now this can move separately. Where did it disappear? For some reason it disappeared. So look at the texture, it's still there. Anyhow, I will skip that part so to make the tutorial shorter. So what we will do is now shift select this, and go to edit, group, and name this group flower 1. Then that flower 1. So now in the scene we have default light. There's that texture. That should be a part of our group also. Edit, ungroup, create, edit, group, flower 1. Alright, so that will be the flower 1 group. Here a sky dome and a plane. This can be deleted. So nurbs plane, we will rename that as floor. Floor, we have a sky dome, we have a flower, and that's it. Right, so now what we'll do is select this plane and go to isoparm, click and drag in the middle, go to surface, insert isoparm. Then we'll go to control vertex, select these and move them up so we get this backdrop. Then select these and drag it along. Then we can select these and hopefully scale them away. Okay, so that creates our backdrop. We can select the flower and move it in the front and on the right. Okay, so you can shift select to copy, and then this will move back, this will move back. Okay, then we'll go to create, cameras, camera and aim, and then I can rotate this 180 degrees. Okay, so panels, perspective, camera 1, so we're looking through the camera. Move the camera up. If you open the camera, you have the camera aim. Then that can be moved up. We can go to view, camera settings, resolution gate, go to render settings and change this to 720 by 405. Okay, so that is our basic setup. for rendering. So we have 3 flowers, there are no lights. So we'll go to create, light, direct light. Okay, so the direct light will be falling like this. The direct light doesn't have to be up or down, it just has to be rotated. So you get the shadows. Okay, so we can select the flower 1, and in the scene it can go back and at the right. Alright, so what I also did was shift and rotate to create multiple flowers. Okay, so we have more flowers. The sky dome light can have a lesser intensity of 0.5. You can also make it a little yellowish. Okay, and then this one can be slightly yellowish also. Alright, so you get that light, you have some shiny areas, so you can rotate the light to get that away. Alright, this can have a higher intensity. And now what we will do is we will add depth of field. So we'll select the camera. And there are 2 places for depth of field. There's one here somewhere. I need to find it. Depth of field. Okay, so this depth of field is not going to work. So don't worry about that. We need the Arnold depth of field. So click on Arnold and enable the depth of field. Now here the depth of field is going to work from 0 to 1. Alright. So 1 means way blown out of proportion blur. So you can see that it's blurred out totally. So if you look at point 1, now you can see that the things in the back are blurred out, things in the front are. So how do you control the focal distance is by going to display, heads up display, and we go to object detail, and then we can select an object that you want. Say for example, you want this in focus. This distance from camera is 9.618. Alright, so we select the camera and then we go, and here it becomes 9.618. Alright, and then if you render this, you will have that object in focus, and let us try 0.05. And now you can see that this object is in focus and these 2 objects are out of focus. Let us look at our flower 4, which is 4.54. and that's why initially it was in focus, because the camera was at 5. So we will do it 4.54. Okay, so now this is in focus, and now you can change this to aperture size to say 0.2. Okay, and the others are totally out of focus. 0.1, and that's about it. So you can play with how much you want the focal distance to be. The gradient, what I did was I also assigned a new material, Arnold standard surface, name it floor, and for color I used ramp. The first ramp is green, dark green. The second ramp is a blue for sky, and I created a middle ramp and make it little light in color. Okay, so it looks like our ramp is reversed, so we can move this around. Okay, so we have a sky and a horizon line and the green color for the, now it's reflective, so if you go back you can bring down the specularity. Okay, so it is little reflective, but it looks cool. Alright, so that's about it. And then to improve the quality of rendering, you go to render settings, Arnold renderer, you increase your diffuse and specular passes, and ray depth for diffuse and specular. And then if you render it, it's going to take longer time to render, but you're going to get a good quality render. So that's about it. So we looked at how to create paint effects and then retexture map them using Arnold materials. Understood how to create depth of field. Okay, so stay tuned for more tutorials to learn 3ds Max, Maya, Arnold. I'm soon going to make tutorials on Unity, so you can learn how to create your first game in Unity. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe and like the video so I could keep making more and grow this community. Thank you very much.